So this is the UKZN Teaching and Learning in Higher Education Conference. It's an annual conference that brings together delegates from around the world to articulate their thinking on contemporary issues on higher education, research and institutional research. In the past, we hosted the Teaching and Learning Conference at one of our university campuses. Over the years, the number of delegates has increased exponentially. The conference was hosted at the Ilangeni Maharani Hotel, which is located on the beachfront, the Golden Mile of the Durban East Coast. The conference comprises approximately half of the delegates who come from the University of KwaZulu-Natal, and having exposure to the other half, who are international guests, provides a sterling opportunity for a reality check about where exactly UKZN is at in relation to contemporary debates, the extent of our own innovation, the quality of our scholarship, and how we can benefit from the expertise that can be shared with our guests from elsewhere.
So far it's been wonderful. It's been a great introduction to South Africa and to the educational system and some of the challenges. A lot of dynamic situations and actually an opportunity for great change.
Teaching and learning and research are the cornerstones of any university's core business. The conference provides the opportunity for delegates from various parts of the world to come and showcase their innovations, their findings of experimental studies, of new approaches, of how technology is used, to share ideas. The key theme underpinning the discussions at the 2015 conference was whether policy can learn from practice. And we're asking critical questions from our delegates to demonstrate whether in fact we should be shifting the gaze from policy to practices that inform policy. Notably, we have Professor William Tierney from the University of Southern California, our own policy specialist from the University of Witwatersrand, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Adam Habib. Our third keynote speaker, who happens to be the new CEO of the Council on Higher Education, the CHE, Professor Naren Bejnath. So aside from what you would expect at a usual typical conference, that's the keynote, workshops and paper presentations, in 2014 we introduced something of an innovation called Teaching and Learning TV. We extend the debates further where academics are able to insert their own scholarly agendas into these discussions. So these conversations that are recorded in the studio are then converted into YouTube videos, which we post onto our website, which is then accessible to the international academic community.
There's so much innovation happening in the area of language development in higher education, particularly that we are moving from policy to practice. For such a long time, these things just remained on paper, and now we're seeing with the wonderful work being done by these scholars that actually we might move into a new era in higher education where African languages become the center of the focus, and we use it as an intellectual language and not just for conversation.
The interest in South Africa, and as Stephen Harrison himself pointed out, shows that there's much happening, much which may be perceived as negative. But within every negative situation, something emerges that could be potentially new, because there are things happening around the world which shows dysfunctionality, shows complex adaptive systems struggling to harmonize. And they can learn from us. The fact that we've got this kind of speaker, this kind of philosopher, author in an academic conference is probably unheard of anywhere in the world.
At gatherings such as these, we get glimpses of hope and glimpses of how other institutions are managing student protests, for instance, around issues of funding, around issues of progression rates, around issues of quality.